Division 10 Healthcare Occupancy Section 10.2, 10.1 General Requirements Definition. Hospitals, a building or part thereof used for the medical, psychiatric, obstetrical, or surgical care on a 24-hour basis of 4 or more inpatients. Hospital, wherever used in this chapter, shall include general hospitals, mental hospitals, tuberculosis hospital, children's hospital, and any such facilities providing patients care. Number 2, nursing home, a building or part there or used for the lodging, boarding, and nursing care on a 24-hour basis of 4 more person who because of mental or physical incapacity may be unable to provide for their own needs and safety without the assistance of another person. Nursing home, wherever used in this IRR, shall include nursing and convalescent homes, skilled nursing facilities, intermediate care facilities, and infirmaries of homes for the aged. Number 3, residential custodial care facility, a building or part thereof used for the lodging or boarding of 4 or more persons who are incapable of self-preservation because of age or physical or mental limitation. These include facilities such as home for the aged, nurseries, custodial care for children under 6 years of age, and mentally retarded care institution, daycare facilities that do not provide lodging or boarding for institutional occupants are not covered in this division. B. Fundamental requirements. All healthcare buildings shall be so designed, constructed, maintained, and operated as to minimize the possibility of a fire emergency requiring the evacuation of occupants, because the safety of occupants of healthcare buildings cannot be assured adequately by dependence on evacuation of the building. Their protection from the fire shall be provided by appropriate arrangement of facilities, adequate staffing, and careful development of operating and maintenance procedure composed of the following: A. Proper design, construction, and compartmentation. B. Prevention for detection, alarm, and extinguishment. And C. Fire prevention and the planning, training, and drilling and programs for the isolation of fire and transfer of occupants to areas of refuge or evacuation of the building. 2. It is recognized that in building housing various types of psychiatric patient, it may be necessary to lock doors and bar windows to confine and protect building inhabitants. Section of this rule requiring the keeping of exits unlocked may be waived by the chief BFP of his duty authorized representative. It is also recognized that some psychiatric patients are not capable of seeking safety without guidance. C. Emergency rooms, operating rooms, intensive care units, delivery rooms, and other similar facility. Emergency rooms, operating rooms, intensive care units, delivery rooms, and other similar facilities shall not be located more than 1 story above or below the floor of exit, discharge, and existing building where any of the aforementioned facilities are located above or below the floor of exit, discharge. Same shall be equipped with ramps complying with section 10.25.7 of this IRR. Letter D. New construction, additional conversation. Any addition should be separated from any existing non-conforming structure by a non-combustible fire partition having at least a 2 2R fire resistant rating, communicating Openings in such dividing fire partition shall occur only in corridors and shall be protected by unapproved self-closing fire doors. Such doors shall normally keep approved close. Occupancy and occupant load. Healthcare occupancies in building housing. Other occupancies shall be completely separated from them by non-combustible construction having at least a 2-hour fire resistance rating. Sections of healthcare building may be classified as their occupancies if they meet at the following condition. A. They are not intended to serve healthcare occupants for purpose of housing, treatment, customary access, or means of egress. B. They are adequately separated from areas of healthcare occupancies by construction having a 2-hour fire resistance rating. Section 10.2 Exit details. Number and types. Exit shall be restricted to the following permissible type. A. Doors leading directly outside the building. B. Stair and smoke-proof enclosure. C. Ramps. D. Horizontal exit. E. Exit passageway. B. Capacity of exits. The capacity of means of egress shall be in accordance with section 10.2.5.2 per C of this IRR. C. Access to exit. Every aside passageway, corridor, exit, discharge, exit, location, and access shall be in accordance with section 10.2.5.2 of this IRR, except as modified in succeeding paragraphs of this subsection. To travel distance shall comply with the following. A. Between any room's door intended as exit, access, and on exit shall not exceed 30 meters. B. Between any points in a room and an exit shall not exceed 46 meters. Between any point in a healthcare sleeping room or suite and an exit access door of that room or suite shall not exceed 15 meters. Doors shall be in accordance with section 10.2.5.3 except as modified in this subsection for door requirements in horizontal exits and smoke partition. See section 10.2.5.6. Section 10.2.6 Error reference source not found in this section. Lock shall not be permitted on patient sleeping room doors. Exception number 1, key locking. Exception number 2, door locking. Any door in a fire separation, horizontal exit, or a smoke partition may be held open only by an electrical device which complies with section 10.2.5.3. Each of the following systems shall be so arranged as to initiate the self-closing action throughout the entire healthcare facility. 1. The required alarm system. B. The required automatic fire detection system. C. An approved automatic fire suspension system. Stairs and smoke-proof enclosures. Every stair and smoke-proof enclosure shall be in accordance with section 10.2.5.4. Horizontal exits. A horizontal exit shall be in conformance with section 10.2.5.6 and or as modified in this subsection. Section 10.2, 10.3 Protection. Subdivision of building spaces. Smoke partition required. Smoke partition shall be provided regardless of building construction type as follows. To divide into at least 2 compartments every story used by inpatients for sleeping or treatment, and any story having an occupant load of 50 or more persons. Minimum construction standard. Healthcare building of 1 story only may be constructed of protected non-combustible construction, fire-resistive construction, protected ordinary construction, protected wood frame construction, heavy timber construction, or unprotected non-combustible construction. For the purpose of this subsection, story should be counted starting at the lowest floor of exit discharge. All levels below the floor exit discharge shall be separated from the floor of exit discharge by at least protected non-combustible construction. Construction of corridor walls. Corridors should be separated from use areas by partition having a fire resistant rating of at least 1 hour. Protection of vertical openings and fire stopping. Any stairway, ramp, elevator, shaft lights, and ventilation shaft, chute, and other openings between stories should be enclosed with non-combustible materials in accordance with Section 10.2.5.2, Section 10.2.6.2 of this IRR and this section. Interior finish. Interior finish of walls and ceiling and means of egress and of any room shall be Class A in accordance with Section 10.2.6.3 of this IRR. Alarm detection and extinguishment system. Every building shall have an electrically supervised automatic fire alarm system capable of being manually operated in accordance with Section 10.2.6.4 of this IRR. The fire alarm system shall be installed with provision for future connection to the nearest BFP station in the locality. Hazardous areas. Any hazardous area shall be segregated and protected in accordance with Section 10.2.6.8 of this IRR. Hazardous areas include but are not limited to the following: boiler and heater rooms, laundries, kitchens, repair shops, handicraft shop, employer locker room, spoil linen rooms, paint shop. Section 10.2.10.4 Building service equipment. Air conditioning, ventilation, ventilating, heating, cooking, and other service. Division 11 Detention and correctional occupancies. Section 10.2.11.1 General requirements. Definition. Detention and correctional occupancies shall include those used for purposes such as correctional institution, detention facilities, community residential center, and substance abuse or rehabilitation centers where occupants are confined or housed under some degree of restraint or security. Occupancy. For the application of the life safety requirements of this division, the resident user category shall be divided into the following 5 groups. First, use condition 1, pre-egress. Second, use condition 2, zone egress. Third, use condition 3, zone impeded ingress. Fourth, use condition impeded egress. And 5, use condition contain. Free movement is restricted from an occupied space. Stop control manual release. At each door is provided to allow movement from all sleeping rooms, activity spaces, and other occupied areas within the smoke compartment to another smoke compartment. Section 10.2.11.3 Protection. Protection of vertical opening. Any vertical opening should be enclosed or protected. Exception number 1. Unprotected vertical openings in accordance with section 10.2.6.2 of this IRR shall be permitted. Subdivision of building spaces. Every story used for sleeping by residents or any other story with an occupant load of 50 or more persons shall be subdivided into compartments by means of smoke barrier. Residential occupancy section 10.2.12.1 classification. Residential occupancy should include all occupancies so classified in division 3 of this IRR. They should be classified in the following groups subject to determination by the Chief BFP or his duty authorized representative. Requirements: occupant load, capacity of exit, maintenance of exit. Section 10.2.12.4 apartment buildings. General requirements. Any apartment building which complied with all of the preceding requirements of this section for hotels may be considered as a hotel, and as such the following requirements for apartment buildings will not be applicable. Protection. Segregation of dwelling units. Dwelling units in row apartments shall be separated from each other by partition wall having a fire-resistant rating of 4 hours. Such wall should be constructed solidly and continuously from the ground to level 1 meter above the ridge line of the roof. Protection of vertical opening. Protection of vertical opening shall be the same as required for hotel. See section 10.2.12.3 of this IRR. There shall be no unprotected vertical opening in any building or fire section with only one exit. 4. A 3 interior finish. 4 alarm systems. 5. Extinguishing requirements. 6. Hazardous areas. A very hazardous area shall be separated from other parts of the building construction having a fire resistance rating of at least 1 hour. Communicating opening shall be protected by approved automatic or self-closing. Shall be protected by approved automatic or self-closing fire doors. Hazardous areas including but shall not be limited to section 10.2.13.1 general requirements. Mercantile occupancies. Mercantile occupancies shall include all buildings and structures or parts thereof with occupancy as described division 3 of this chapter. Types of exit. Exit shall be restricted to the following permissible types. 1. Doors. 2. Stairs and smoke-proof enclosure. 3. Horizontal exit. And 4. Ramps. Number of exits. Exit shall comply with the following except as otherwise permitted by paragraphs 2 through 5 below. The number of means of egress shall be in accordance with section 10.2.5.2 of this IRR. Not less than 2 separate exits shall be provided on every story. Not less than 2 separate exits shall be accessible from every part of every story. Division 14, section 10.2.14.1 Business occupancies. Business occupancies shall include all buildings and structures or parts thereof with occupancies described in division 3 of this chapter. The contents of business occupancy shall be classified as ordinary hazards in accordance with Division 4 of this chapter for purpose of the design of an automatic fire suppression system, as office occupancy shall be classified as light hazard occupancy. Section 10.2.14.4 Building Service Utilities. Utilities shall comply with the provision of Section 10.2.7.1 of this IRR. First, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. Second, elevators, escalators, and conveyors. Section 10.2.14.5 Combined business and mercantile occupancies in any building occupied for both business and mercantile purposes. The entire building shall have exits in accordance with Division 14 of this chapter. Section 10.2.15.1 Industrial occupancies. Subclassification of occupancies and occupant load. Subclassification of occupancy. General industrial occupancy. Special purpose industrial occupancy. High hazard industrial occupancy. Division 16, Section 10.2.16.1 Storage occupancies. Occupancy load. The occupant load in number of persons for whom means of egress and other provisions are required shall be determined on the basis of the maximum probable population of the space under consideration. Division 17 Miscellaneous structures. Any building or structure occupied for purpose not covered by Division 8 through 17 of this IRR shall have exit and related safeguards in accordance with the fundamental principles of this chapter, and shall comply with the following provision where applicable. Section 10.2.17.1 Towers. Any towers utilized for such purposes as observation, signaling, either as an independent structure or on top of a building, shall be permitted to have a single stairway or ramp exit if all of the following conditions are met. Division 18 Operating Features. Section 10.2.18.1 Fire exit drills shall be conducted in coordination with the Office of the City Municipality Fire Marshal. Fire exit drills. Fire exit drills conforming to the provision of this division shall be regularly conducted in school and in other occupancies where specified by the provision of Division 8 through 17 of this chapter, or by appropriate action of the city municipal fire marshal having jurisdiction over the area. Division 19 Special Provision for High-Rise Building. Section 10.2.19.1 Scope. The division deals with life safety from fires and similar emergencies in high-rise buildings if cover fire safety features in construction and protection of exit and passageway and provision for the protection. Section 10.2.19.2 A high-rise building is one in which the distance between the floor of the topmost story and the ground level is 15 meters or more. Building height shall be measured from the lowest level of fire department vehicle access to the floor of the highest occupable story. Section 10.2.19.3 Smoke control. Section 10.2.19.4 is sprinkler system protection. Section 10.2.19.5 Fire Command Center. Section 10.2.19.8 Applicability of all other provisions of this code. This section shall supplement all other applicable provisions of the Fire Code and this IRR.